won't be able to watch tonight, but perhaps sometime during the week it will be blowing and we'll be able to get our television on it. Upon taking office, Harris and Biden shut down the Keystone XL pipeline. They issued orders to close dozens and dozens of existing power plants, and Kamala has vowed that if elected, she will absolutely ban fracking. She said, I'll ban fracking just recently. I'll ban fracking. There will be no fracking. That means that she can't win the state of Pennsylvania because Pennsylvania is all about fracking. That's their biggest industry. And you know what, Pennsylvania, I hope you're watching because that's what she says and that's what she'll do and that's what she'll go back to. She wants to ban fracking and she's wanted it for her entire career. And we're not going to let her destroy our country like that. We're not going to let her. If Harris gets in, energy prices will skyrocket far more than even in Europe. You know, Europe's a basic disaster because they've tended to go a little bit woke, but that's now changing. Have you been watching? That's changing. Inflation will surge into double digits in our own country, and your quality of life will absolutely collapse. Your quality of life is going to collapse under these lunatics. By contrast, she said it already has. Who said that, ma'am? Wow. You look healthy, though. You look very nice. You look very nice. By contrast, I'm announcing today that under my leadership, the United States will commit to the ambitious goal of slashing energy and electricity prices by half, at least half. We intend to slash prices by half within 12 months, at a maximum 18 months. And if it doesn't work out, you'll say, oh, well, I voted for him. I still got him down a lot, but we're looking to do it. We're looking to cut him in half, and we think we'll be able to do better. And every single thing that I promised, I produced. Every single thing. You will never have had energy so low as you will under a certain gentleman known as Donald J. Trump. Have you heard of him? So we think your energy bills will be down by 50 to 70%. How good would that be for a thing called inflation? How good will that be? You know, energy is such a big topic, such a big cost, so powerful, so big, that if you have a donut shop, you have the ovens, you have a truck that delivers the donuts, if you have whatever you do, your heating, your cooling, everything is about that. That's where they really blew it. They blew it with too much borrowing. They blew it with wasting $9 and $10 trillion on the scam, the great scam in history. There are a lot of scams that they worked on. Where's the laptop from hell? Is it around by any chance? But they did it by doing a lot of things. But with the energy, it's such a big topic. No matter what business you're in, you have to heat your business, cool your business. You need cars, trucks to get there and to take the product. It's so energy dominated. My administration will issue rapid approvals for new energy infrastructure, unlock new lands for drilling, and achieve energy independence and energy dominance. So we want energy dominance almost immediately. We were energy independent 4 years ago. Think of it. Today we're getting energy from Venezuela in the form of tar. We're getting it from Venezuela, tar. You ever see what it is to make oil out of tar? They have tar. They have a lot of tar. It's not good. You know where they make it? In Houston, Texas. It's the only plant in the world that can take this material and turn it into gasoline and oil. But no, it's tar, and they're doing very well. You know, speaking of that just for a second, so Venezuela crime is down 72% because they're taking all of their criminals out of Caracas, out of the different places. Their mental institutions are literally closing up. They're taking the people from mental institutions, people from prisons and jails, terrorists. They have terrorists all over the place. And you know where they're bringing them? Welcome to the United States of America. Murderers, drug dealers. And Venezuelan crime is down 72%, but that's only one. All over the world, crime is down because they're taking their criminals and their people from mental institutions and they're putting them into our country because we have stupid people like Kamala and Joe running our country, and there's never been anything like this. And if you look at New York today and you look at a couple of, remember I said migrant crime will be a big subject. I said that a year ago. Everyone said, oh, no, oh, he's so wrong. Do you see what's happening with migrant crime? They make our criminals look like nice people. They do. These are the toughest. These are the toughest people in the world. The toughest people. We built 571 miles of wall, as an example. They could have, and it's more than I said I was going to build, but then I was going to add 200 miles. We had it built, and they didn't put it up. It would have taken 3 weeks to erect. It was all there, ready to put up. Would have taken 3 weeks to put up. And that's when I said they actually want open borders. And Kamala wants open borders. And she said it for 15 years. She wants open borders. She only changed recently when she noticed in a poll that wasn't polling too well. People don't want open borders where people can flow into our country. To further combat inflation, I will terminate Kamala Harris's Green New Scam and rescind all of the unspent funds. Give all of the unspent funds back to building roads, bridges, and give it back to the government. And we won't, it's like throwing, what she did, what they did was like throwing billions of dollars out the window. We will stop wasteful spending and big government special interest giveaways and finally stand up for the American taxpayer, which hasn't happened since I was president. We stood up. We stood up. We stood up. I mean, prior to COVID coming in history, there's never been an economy like we had. Then when COVID came in, you know, we rebuilt the military. We defeated ISIS. Everybody said it would take 10 years to defeat. I did it in 8 months. We rebuilt that whole, we did so many things, and we created the greatest economy. I got a lot of credit on everything, including the economy. When COVID came in, we had to do certain things. We had to make certain moves. And if we didn't make those moves, Scott, and if we didn't help businesses survive for that little period of time, you would have had that 1929-style depression. That's what you would have had. We did a great job. Then when we handed it to them, the stock market was higher than it was previous to COVID coming in. Think of that. It was actually higher. And we handed them something that was a jewel. By the way, more people died from COVID in the Biden administration than the Trump administration, and he got it when it was ending all over the world. It was pretty much ending. So we never really got the credit we deserved for that with the ventilators and all of the different things that we did, the outfits, a lot of things. We were producing in New Hampshire and different places masks. We had mask factories opening up. We had everything, and we did a good job. And then it came back, and should have come roaring back, but they really blew it. They spent so much money. They didn't have to spend any more money. What they had to do is let our economy take over. But we had some great Republican governors that did a fantastic job. The Democrat governors, not so much. Out of the top 25, as an example, crime-ridden cities, virtually every single one of them is run by Democrats. Think of that. To make both new and used cars more affordable, I will end the Biden-Harris electric vehicle mandate on day one. Doesn't make sense. And by the way, there's a great place for electric cars. They're going to do great. I think they're going to do great. And Elon's heard me say that many times. He still endorsed me. I mean, I wouldn't be able to change. It's a question of how far do they go and how much do they cost and all of the different things, factors. But electric cars have a great place in our country, but you have to be able to really get gasoline-powered cars, hybrids, many different types, diesel. You want diesel with trucks. You know, they want to make trucks all electric. Going to California, you have 6 stops. With diesel, you have no stops. That's hard to beat, right? If they're too heavy, common sense. We're the party of common sense. An electric truck weighs more than twice, 2.5 times what a gasoline-propelled truck weighs, right? That would mean you would have to rebuild every bridge and tunnel in the United States. Oh, that sounds reasonable. It would cost so much money. The United States doesn't have, every country together doesn't have what it would cost. But there's a great place for electric, but there's a place for everything, and you should be able to go out and buy what you want. You go out and buy what you want. To further reduce consumer prices, I will immediately eliminate every single costly job-killing regulation the Biden-Harris administration has created, and they've created a lot. Remember, I took out 12 for every one I created, and we ended up doing more than that. We got rid of so many regulations that were so unnecessary. Some of them were 100 years old. In my first term, our regulation cuts saved the typical American family $11,000. In my next term, the Trump dividend will be even larger. It'll be a dividend. By repealing the Biden-Harris regulatory onslaught, we can save an estimated $20,000. And you're talking about a tremendous amount, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 a year just in savings. So to get to economic relief to workers and families, we will make additional tax cuts. That's what gave us the great economy. We'll make tax cuts additionally. We'll make them permanent because, you know, we have a thing where they want to terminate at the end of the period when they expire. The Trump tax cuts, 5 years, they want to let them expire. That would mean your taxes would go up 4 times. You'll be paying 4 times much. And we will do something else which was copied, I mean, viciously, ruthlessly copied. No tax on tips, okay? No tax on tips. You know, if they wanted to do that, why didn't they do it 3.5 years ago? They didn't want it. It was actually the opposite. They hired 88,000 IRS agents to go after these people. So for every position the fake new Kamala takes down, and all of these positions 3 weeks ago, the real Kamala said the exact opposite, the exact opposite. With me, you will always have a president who tells it like it is. You will always have somebody where I let you know where I stand, and you can vote for me or not, but you need that, and you need consistency, and you need brilliance. You need brilliance. She is not a brilliant person. She is not a smart person. She is not very smart. But it is crazy, isn't it, though? Isn't it crazy? She was so disrespected just a few weeks ago, and now it's like, Kamala, Kamala. The fake news. The fake news is a threat to our country. Don't kid yourself. To help seniors on fixed incomes who are suffering the ravages of inflation, there will be no tax on Social Security. We're going to stop it. No tax on Social Security. This cruel double taxation of Social Security benefits, and this has been talked about for a long time. She'll probably announce this on Friday, too. Oh, look, they have a spy in the audience right over there. He's spying. Let's see, Kamala, I think we should do no tax on Social Security. But it only came into existence in 1984, and at that time it only affected a very small number of recipients. But now, nearly half of all seniors are forced to pay income tax on Social Security, and thanks to inflation under Harris, she is horrible. This tax hits more seniors every year, more and more, and they can't make it. They're not making it. They're failing. You know, the people that did it right, they saved, they worked, they saved and saved. Those are the people that were hurt most by this kind of thinking and this economy. With your vote, I will end this injustice, and I will always protect Social Security and Medicare for our great seniors, just as I did for 4 incredible years. There was never any talk about doing anything. By contrast, Kamala Harris has a 3-step plan to destroy Medicare and to destroy Social Security. First, she has thrown open our borders. You know what that's going to do. They're all signing up. Oh, congratulations. They'll be all signing up right next to you. But she's opened up our borders. Think of it. Again, I believe it's 20 million people, but I think it's probably much more with the gotaways. And you know what a gotaway is, right? Remember I had Remain in Mexico policy. You think that was easy to get from Mexico? What I had to do to them. And I had Remain in Mexico. They ended it immediately. They thought it was unfair to Mexico. Can you believe that? Mexico's like it's like a railroad track coming into our country. They thought it was unfair. It's not unfair. But Mexico agreed to it. Remain in Mexico, and they ended it very early. They ended it almost immediately. Second, she's flooding our country with millions and millions of low-wage migrants and giving them welfare, free health care, food stamps, public benefits. And third, she's giving them what our military vets don't get. They're sleeping on a street in freezing or very hot weather. And illegal immigrants that came in so illegally and don't speak a word of English are living in some of the most luxurious hotels in the world. It's incredible. You see that. You've been seeing the stories. They're living in hotels. They're taking, right, front row Joes. They're taking some of the best hotels because the government pays more than they can get from wealthy customers. So they say, well, I don't know about this. I think we'll take the illegal immigrant. We're going to get more money from the U.S. government than some rich guy coming in from Argentina. And third, she wants to make them all citizens, dumping them into Medicare and Social Security until those programs buckle and collapse. And that's what's going to happen. Under them, Social Security, Medicare, and other programs will collapse. No country can sustain what's happening right now. The millions of illegal aliens pouring into our country under a border, Azar, Harris, are coming from all sorts of places, from countries unknown, literally from countries unknown. And they, as I said, they're coming in from prisons and from mental institutions, and they're coming in as terrorists. We have more terrorists living in our country right now, and nothing good is going to happen from this. And now it's getting more and more violent. Just pick up the newspapers, turn on your television. People stabbed. A woman yesterday raped in New York, raped viciously. And when they said she was raped, you know what she said? They weren't trying to rape me. They were trying to kill me. They were trying to kill her. And he was a gentleman from a certain country I won't mention, happened to be in South America. But it's not South America. It's all over the world that they're coming in. It's not South America. They're coming from all over the world. Just this week in Coney Island, Kamala had two, think of this one, migrants. They came in, the Kamala, we call them the Kamala migrants, and they were arrested for rape of a 46-year-old woman, and it was a rough situation. There were 4 or 5 other situations over the last couple of days. Rape and murder, rape and beating, rape and something else, and sometimes just immediate killing. These people are brutal. These are people that came out of the toughest jails anywhere in the world, from all over the world. And we can't take them. No country can sustain it. No country. They all said I was wrong when I said that migrant crime will reach epidemic proportions. And now it's much worse than that. It's a lot worse than epidemic proportions. It's beyond control. We have a new category of crime. It's called migrant crime. And I think it's going to end up being the worst category of all. These people are tough. They're tough. They're mean. They're angry. And they shouldn't be in our country. And it's not going to work out well. The migrants that Harris let in are raping our women and hurting our children, and now Kamala wants to let them pillage Social Security and Medicare. That's what's going to happen. It will never happen. It will never even get close to happening if I'm in office, and I think you're going to have to put me in office, because there's never been anything like this. If Kamala wins, you will have mass amnesty and citizenship for all of the Biden-Harris illegals that poured into our country. If I win, you will have the largest deportation operation in American history, starting at noon on Inauguration Day, 2025. And, you know, I don't say that happily, because it's not an easy situation with so many people. It's not sustainable. But Dwight Eisenhower, General Eisenhower, President Eisenhower, he was very strong on borders. He felt that you cannot do this. The largest deportation operation we ever had was under Dwight Eisenhower, president. And he understood that it was not sustainable to have millions of people coming in. But what he went through is peanuts compared to what we're going through. Nobody's ever gone, no country, no border has ever gone through what we're going through, and they're destroying our country. The Kamala migrant invasion is also a major factor in crushing your wages and driving up the cost of health care and the cost of all of your goods. Millions of uninsured illegal aliens are getting billions and billions of dollars in free health care, paid for by American citizens on your medical bills. It's right on your medical bills. You know, when you hear this, you get angry because it shouldn't happen. But what happens to them, they come up in caravans. I think I came up with that name. But they have caravans of thousands and thousands of people, many, many criminals in those caravans. Very dangerous, unbelievably dangerous for women. The women in those caravans are just absolutely, it's horrible what happens. I'm not going to tell you now. It's horrible. It's horrible what happens in those caravans coming up. It's a rough journey. But they come up because we have very stupid people here that say, if you come up, we will give you health care, Social Security, medical, school. You know, our schools in a lot of places are not, you can't even go anymore. They've taken the place of our students. They have people sitting in chairs that don't speak a word of English, and they're taking the place of our young children. The hospitals, a person told me the other day from San Diego, they said they can't get into a hospital anymore. The hospitals are being occupied by the illegal aliens. Somebody's got to take care. They're being occupied. And the reason they're coming is because people like Gavin Newsom and people like Kamala are saying, come, come, it's the American dream, come. They're destroying our country, and we can't do it. We can't let it continue. You're not going to have a country anymore. People like Scott, brilliant Wall Street people, they're right about what they say. And that's also common sense. I'll tell you, it's all about common sense. The Republican Party is the party of common sense. Kamala Harris wants to eliminate private health insurance. Does anybody have private health insurance here? A lot of people, yeah. A lot of people, they want it. That's what they want. They want to have the... Now, if you want to have other, you have other. But they want to take it and they want to turn it off. It doesn't cost our country anything. They want to turn it off. This is what people, they work hard. They make enough money. They want to have a private plan. It's a more luxurious plan. That's okay. But they want to give free taxpayer-funded health care to every single illegal alien in this country. Kamala wants to do that. Now, she'll probably... Here's a little bet we'll make. She'll probably change over the next short period of time. You know, we said, what do you do with some monsters that we have? Monsters, some of the worst killers in the world, in detention centers. You know, they're in detention centers that we have along the border. And you know what she said? They have to be released. Released. We're going to release. These are murderers. These are killers. These are drug dealers. These are the worst people on earth. You don't get much worse. She said, now she'll probably change her mind on that too, but she wants to release. This is, remember, I said it before, a person that's considered far more liberal than crazy Bernie Sanders. He's crazy, you know, and far more liberal than crazy Bernie. This is considered worse. And we're not going to have a president like that. Somebody was saying last night on television that when the people find out, the wonderful Sean Hannity actually said it. Have you ever heard of him? Yes. But he said it, but everyone's saying it. When people find out about her, that she's a very liberal person, you know, they use the word progressive. They use the word, they don't use liberal anymore. They use progressive because it sounds so nice, progressive. What is progressive? That means forward thinking. It's not, it's the opposite. But she's the most liberal senator that we've had in 50, 60 years, I think probably ever, but far more liberal than crazy Bernie. By contrast, I'm going to keep the Affordable Care Act unless we can do something much better. We'll keep it. It stinks. It's not good. If we can do something better, we're going to do something with it. If we can do better, meaning less expensive and better health care for you, less expensive and better health care for you, then we'll do it. We're not looking better for the government. We're looking better for you. She goes around saying, well, he's going to get rid of the health. No, I'm going to keep it unless we can come up with something that's better for you and less expensive for you. Otherwise, we're not doing it. And you saw that having to do with Social Security. For 4 years I was there, and for 4 years I never raised the age. They're going to end up raising your age by 5 years. I never raised your age. I never did anything. I left your plan the way it was. Never touched it. I was there 4 years. Same thing with Russia. They said, oh, he's going to go and, start a war or something. Well, you know what? For 4 years, Russia never went in to Ukraine. They waited till I got out, and then the armies started to form. But, if you go back with Russia, Bush let them have a lot of land. You know that. Obama, President Barack Hussein Obama, have you heard of him? Barack Hussein Obama let them have a lot of land. Now you have Biden. He's letting them have the whole thing, okay? The whole thing. But you had President Trump. What did Putin take under Trump? Nothing. Nothing. Took nothing. He took nothing under Trump, but he took under Bush. He took under Obama. Big, big stuff. He took it in Ukraine, in and around Ukraine, but he took nothing under Trump. But now he's going for the big one, isn't he? Huh? We're going to deliver lower prices, lower drug costs, new options that will dramatically reduce the crushing burden of American patients. Kamala and Joe tried to take credit for $35 insulin. You know that. You know who did that? I did that. I did that. I did the insulin, and it kicked in. And I remember when I did it, it had to be a statute. It was a certain statute that took a certain period of time. I said, I hope I'm elected because somebody's going to get a lot of credit for doing what I got done. I got it done. $35 insulin. And now they take credit for it. It's terrible. Terrible. They take credit for a lot of things they shouldn't be taking credit for. If they said, congratulations, you did a good job on insulin, that would be nice. And nobody's going to go crazy about that. Congratulations, because insulin was impossible for people to afford. They were dying. They didn't get it. The expense was, I got it for $35. Nobody thinks it's even possible. But they could say you did a great job, thank you very much. Or you did a good job. But instead, they say, we brought insulin in at $35. It's a lie. Kamala is fighting for health care for illegal aliens and fighting for health care and think of this, he's fighting for health care for people that are destroying our country. I'm fighting for health care for the American people, the people that are supposed to have the health care. The colossal influx of migrants into our cities is driving rent absolutely through the roof. That's why, and who's paying the rent? The government. Our government is paying rent. We're paying numbers that were not obtainable. In fact, if I ever went back into business, I'd buy some buildings in certain areas and I'll charge the government the highest rents you've ever seen. That's what they're doing. Some very smart landlords are getting a lot of money. That's why some of the luxury hotels are going into migrants. They can make much more money renting to a migrant than to wealthy people. But that's why, as president, I will seal the border. I will send them all back to their countries where they belong. Prices will come down and come down dramatically and come down fast. To further address the housing affordability crisis, we will work with states like Nevada, a great state. We're leading big in the poll there, by the way. Thank you very much. Good governor. To open up large tracts of federal land for housing constructions, and similar to opportunity zones that I did with Senator Tim Scott, a great guy from South Carolina, senator from South Carolina. Came in, he said, I have this idea. He's had it for a long time, but he could never get a president to execute it. I did. And opportunity zones, one of the greatest things that we've done in terms of economic development. I give Tim Scott a lot of credit for that, too. These areas will have low taxes, low regulation to stimulate rapid economic growth, maximum affordability, and the return of a thing called, which I always come back to, the American dream, because we've lost the American dream. We will bring back our supply chains. Supply chains were basically not even talked. It was automatic. You have a thing, it's delivered from here to here. When this lunatic became president, with her, remember, she was there at every step of the way, but she was silent because she was, I don't know, nobody respected her until she was the only choice left. They couldn't get anybody else. Did you see where they had the 12 most likely people to be chosen after Biden? and she was ranked number last, and she was the one that was picking. She was ranked. She was ranked below Tim. He was second, I think, second to last. We will bring back our supply chain. We're going to bring back our supply chains. We're going to bring them back from China and other foreign countries, ending costly supply chain. Those are supply chain disruptions. We're going to bring them back. We're going to bring them back fast as we reduce burdens on domestic manufacturers. American workers will make our critical goods better and cheaper. We're going to make them in our country, right here in the USA, right here in a place called North Carolina. Have you heard of it? Have you heard of it? We're going to have 10 to 20% tariffs on foreign countries that have been ripping us off for years. We're going to charge them 10 to 20% to come in and take advantage of our country, because that's what they've been doing for nothing, to take our jobs. We're going to charge them and bring back millions and millions of jobs by doing so, and billions of dollars. I did that with China. I took in hundreds of billions of dollars with China. Nobody ever took in 10 cents from China, and it slowed them down, and it made us much better. In fact, Biden's been unable to take those tariffs off China because it's so much money coming in, they don't know what to do. How do you replace it? Our current, he's on the take. Yeah, you're right. Do you come from North Carolina, sir? Where is the guy that said that? He's on the take. It's pretty good. I would say he could be right. He is right. Our current massive deficits will be reduced to practically nothing. Our country will be powered by growth. Our country will be powered by growth. We'll pay off our debt. We'll have all this income coming in. If people want to take advantage of our country, they have to pay to take advantage of our country. I will also restore peace through strength, and with the return of global stability will come the return of economic stability. We're going to have economic stability. You know, we have wars breaking out all over the world, and they asked the head of the Prime Minister of Hungary, very tough man, strong man, very, you know, somebody that I always got along. I get along with the strong ones. I don't get along with the weak ones. Isn't that sad? That's a personality defect. No, the tough ones. But the tough ones are the ones we have to worry about, right? That's a good thing. But Viktor Orban of Hungary. So they asked him, what do we do? Wars are breaking out all over the world. He said, the answer is very simple. Make sure that Trump gets reelected president, and you're not going to have any more wars. You're not going to have any more problems. They respected him. They respected Trump. They respected Trump. He actually used a different word. I would not use that word, but he can. He said they were afraid of Trump because they had no idea where the hell I was coming from. With Joe, it's sort of easy to tell, isn't it? Yeah. The whole thing is crazy. You know what we're going through? It's crazy. They arrest their political opponent. They go after their political. The whole place is, our country is like a different place. No more wars, no more disruptions. We will have prosperity and we will have peace. And this is how we will end the era of inflation, mayhem, and misery under Kamala and Crooked Joe, and unleash economic abundance for Americans of every race, religion, color, and creed. Together we will deliver low taxes, low regulations, low energy costs, low interest rates, low inflation, so that everyone can afford groceries, a car, and a home. Common sense. We will stop the invasion, end the migrant crime, support our great police, save Medicare, and save Social Security, which is under siege. We will strengthen our military, build a missile defense shield, keep critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools, and keep men out of women's sports. We will defend the Second Amendment, restore free speech, and we will secure our elections. Everyone everyone will prosper, every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity, hope, and joy. But for that to happen, we must never let Kamala Harris get anywhere near the White House, and we must defeat her country-destroying liberal agenda. She destroyed San Francisco. She's not going to destroy our country. So get your friends, get your family, register, volunteer, and get the hell out and vote. You got to vote. On November 5th, we will save our economy. We will rescue our middle class. We will put America first, and we will make America great again. Thank you very much. North Carolina, God bless you. God bless you all. Thank you very much.